I'm just thinking about different things, and I'm coming up with a kind of set of ideas that I think are interestingly interlinked. It's hard not to think a lot about politics right now, given what a drastic change the incoming administration is relative to the previous administration in the United States. And I think that there is a philosophical thread, one that has to do with personal psychology and worldview and kind of the way a person sees the world that gets invoked in politics that is often not spoken to. You can talk about the right and the left politic philosophically and psychologically, and it has been done, throughout time. I think the right holds upon, the pedestal of its worldview something like competence and strength and capability, where the left looks up to things like compassion and care and aversion to harm. You can even associate the kind of masculine and feminine energies to the right and the left. I think all of that is interesting, and I think it can be, it is defensible with the psychological literature, right? Somebody who is politically left is often more feminine in their disposition and more given to a worldview of something like the ultimate good is to protect the weak, where you can say the political right is more masculine in its characterization and is mostly concerned with something like the conquering of evil and the doing of good things, in the face of adversity. I think that's interesting. Something that I see happen that is interesting to me, moreover, is the game of politics is a dirty game, right? The way that you become politically successful, you could argue, is to promise one thing and then, use the buy-in of a constituency around that promise to then just propel yourself to personal power, right? That would be like a Machiavellian, reading of political, jockeying and movement. So, it's so often spouted by the mainstream how that is done on the right? A politician that represents the right tells its constituency that it's going to go and do good things and it's going to conquer evil, and then that person, uses that political leverage to then just instantiate their own power. What I don't ever see articulated fairly in popular culture and mainstream media in the West is how that Machiavellian game is played on the left. And that's very clearly that a person gets up in front of particularly ideological, particularly utopian, particularly sympathetic to the feminine urge to protect the weak and be champions of the marginalized, and tells those people that they are going to instantiate policies and programs and form organizations and so forth that are explicitly meant to even the playing field and help the communities of people that are less advantaged. And right, you tell these frankly oftentimes young, feminine in disposition and worldview, passionate people that you're going to, help the weak and the poor and the, oppressed. And then you just use that buy-in to instantiate organs of power that you have sway over, right? And it's fascinating to me that the critical eye of the, politically concerned is almost never turned towards the basically, as dictated by human psychology, necessarily self-interested psychology of the politician in the instances where these things are false when used for left populism. Like, how is it that all you need to do to champion the left is tell them that you're going to, help the marginalized, and then you just go ahead and enrich yourself? Why is it that we only ever look critically to the right when we see populist leaders? Like, the left has so successfully poisoned academia, media, the judiciary, and really just like what I'm speaking to is just like popular culture, to believe that anybody that comes out and says we're gonna, take on China and we're gonna, become a manufacturing powerhouse again, and, we're going to cut waste critically. Like, anybody that says that certainly is self-interested and is just playing the game. But popular culture has imbibed this nonsense that anybody that goes up and says we're going to help people that are, getting the short end of the stick, and we're going to, change the game so that the weak and the victims, get their fair share. We don't ever look at those politicians as being full of shit. We just accept this lie that champions of the left are somehow of a higher moral caliber than champions of the right. Young people in the United States have been sold on the utter bullshit that if you play the game on the left, you're a better person, which is just wrong. Like, that's the thing that frustrates me so much in political discourse, because, like, I'm willing to have a debate about any particular issue with any particular person, but leftists don't play fair, all other things being equal. Because if you disagree with somebody on the right, often what you hear is, okay, we disagree about immigration or war or government bureaucracy, but, that's okay. We can agree to disagree. And what I so often hear from the left when you have these discussions is, that's crazy that you think that. I can't believe you would say that. How can you possibly think that? Like, it constantly becomes a gossip shame rally, a feminine angle of attack, which is in keeping with the psychological underpinnings of the left politic. That if you don't agree with me, you're a bad person. Not that we are coming to a different conclusion based on the angle with which we're looking at the facts. No. If you disagree with a leftist, you are bad, evil, wrong, and a harbinger of, a hellish future that needs to be fought tooth and nail using any means necessary. And it's just like very clear to me that when a person matures and grows out of the utopian idealism of Marxism and communism and socialism, they realize that, like, yeah, we do need to have freedom of speech. Yeah, we do need to have the rule of law. Yeah, life's not fair. And guess what? It's not fair for everybody. Like, that's just it. Like, you're gonna work hard and you're gonna get screwed. And that's just what it is. And you're gonna keep working and then things will work out for you. But when a particularly slimeball, forked tongue politician gets in your ear and says, the issues in your life are not your fault. They're the fault of the system. And you need to take up your pitchfork and your torch and, follow me and agitate and shout down and cry foul at anybody that would represent the right politic, you're just being led to the slaughter by self-interested politicians. And it's fascinating to me how successful charlatans on the left are at co-opting that fervor of the young idealists. So anyway, there's some thoughts. I hope you guys enjoy my videos. I just got done with a class and it went well. So appreciate you guys' time. Love you. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.